Voice to the World. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, U.S. lists Houthis as terrorists. Yemen's Houthis hit another U.S.-operated ship. U.S. shipping operator Genco confirms attack on Genco Picardy bulk carrier. Victory for British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. UK Parliament's lower house approves controversial Rwanda asylum legislation. Indian economy expected to grow at 7.3% in the current fiscal, says RBI Governor at World Economic Forum in Davos. India prevails over Afghanistan in the second super over to clinch the series 3-0. Houthi rebels have targeted a U.S.-owned vessel in the Red Sea on Wednesday after Washington redesignated the group as global terrorists. Houthi rebels said it made a direct hit with missiles on the U.S. Genco Picardy bulk carrier. The attack, which marked the second on a U.S.-linked vessel in the area this week, was confirmed by U.S. shipping operator Genco, which said its vessel was hit by a projectile when it transited the Gulf of Aden with a cargo of phosphate rock. Genco said there were no injuries to the crew and the ship suffered limited damage to its gangway and was on course out of the area. The United States on Wednesday relisted Houthis as terrorists in response to the Red Sea attacks. The redesignation of the Houthis as global terrorists is in response to the group's attacks on commercial shipping in the region. U.S. officials said the specially designated global terrorist listing was aimed at cutting off funding and weapons the Houthis have used to attack or hijack the ships. The new SDGT designation will also bar people and companies in the U.S. from offering any support to the Houthis. The United States has conducted another round of strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen on Wednesday. Attacks by the Houthi rebels on ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden areas since November have slowed trade between Asia and Europe and has alarmed major powers. A shipment of medical supplies meant for Israeli hostages in Gaza and civilians has entered Gaza on Wednesday as part of a deal brokered by Qatar and France. Earlier, 2 Qatari planes arrived in the north of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, where supplies were unloaded and transferred to the Rafah border crossing with Gaza. One of the planes was carrying medical packages for the hostages captured by Hamas on October 7th. Under the agreement thrashed out on Tuesday, medicines along with humanitarian aid are to be supplied to civilians in Gaza in exchange for delivering drugs needed by hostages held there. Israel has meanwhile increased attacks as Hamas terrorists in southern Gaza's Khan Yunis. Israeli military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari in a televised statement said Israeli forces have killed more than 30 terrorists in Khan Yunis over the past 24 hours. He added that forces have expanded their operations towards a Hamas regiment in the area.
The division active in the Khan Yunis area is operating with the largest forces. It has expanded its attack. It was in the east of Khan Yunis. It has expanded its attack to another Hamas regiment, which is in southern Khan Yunis, and is now carrying out an attack there. Over the past 24 hours, there were tough battles there. Sadly, there were also casualties. Our forces have killed more than 30 militants in the past 24 hours in the area.
Meanwhile, members of the U.S. Congress held a vigil for hostages held in Gaza. Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, led a vigil on the steps of the U.S. Capitol for those held hostage by Hamas terrorists in Gaza since October 7th last year. Let's get to updates from Russia-Ukraine war now. In a nightly video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky urged Ukrainians to seize the initiative to help determine the course of the war and secure worldwide support. The White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby emphasized on the critical and urgent need for continued security assistance flow to Ukraine on Wednesday. Kirby outlined the pressing need for some weapon systems.
This will be an opportunity for the President and for the National Security Team to make sure that members of Congress fully understand the desperate, urgent need for weapons and capabilities for Ukraine to continue to flow. As you know, the last security assistance package was December 27th. There hasn't been one since. There won't be one unless or until we can get some funding. They are expending what they have. And I won't get into their inventory lists, but there are some weapon systems for which they are in more need than others right now, and they have to expend them given ongoing combat.
Republican U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson said the meeting with President Joe Biden and Democrats in the Senate over Ukraine aid and immigration policy was productive. He said this on Wednesday.
We had a productive meeting, I think, House and Senate leaders. The President was very forthright. I told the President what I have been saying for many months, and that is that we must have change at the border, substantive policy change. We're not insistent upon a particular name of a piece of legislation, but we are insistent that the elements have to be meaningful. The House is ready to act.
A person was killed in the Russian missile attack on the residential district of Ukraine in Kharkiv on Wednesday. The regional governor and the military said the attack killed a woman employee of a heating and power plant and damaged an educational building. 2 Russian S-300 missiles struck Kharkiv, injuring 17 people on Wednesday. Let's get you some updates on the developments at the World Economic Forum in Davos on Wednesday. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken described India as an extraordinary success story. He said that leaders of the two countries enjoy excellent relations. Up next, we get your report by Sagnik Chakravarti.
The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has termed India as an extraordinary success story. Blinken hailed the policies and programs of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
We see the remarkable achievements that Prime Minister Modi has achieved, moved forward under his watch that have materially benefited and materially positively affected so many Indian lives. We also see a relationship between our countries that is in a new place, at a new level.
During an interview at the World Economic Forum Annual Meeting 2024 in Davos, Blinken also said US President Joe Biden and PM Modi enjoy excellent relations and their conversations cover all aspects, including US-India ties.
A constant, regular part of our conversation is the conversation about democracy, about rights, these fundamental concerns about democracy, about human rights. And we've done that. We do it in different ways, in different places. In some places, maybe it's more overt, maybe it's more vocal. In others, because of the nature of the relationship we may have with the country, with the government, it's part of a very sustained, very real conversation.
The Russia-Ukraine conflict also dominated the agenda at the World Economic Forum underway in Davos. Addressing media on the sidelines of the forum, Polish President Andrzej Duda said the country needs NATO's support to secure airspace and strengthen security.
I told the Secretary General that an incident with a Russian rocket entering Polish airspace shows a clear necessity to strengthen Poland's security. The presence of systems guarding our skies, our airspace. I remind you that we are in the process of building a 3-layered air defense and missile defense system in our country. But the system is under construction. Today we need support, and that's what we discussed.
On the sidelines of the World Economic Forum, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said it is very important for the 27-member bloc to unanimously approve the debated financial aid for war-torn Ukraine.
I think it's very important to engage with all 27 member states of the European Union to get the 50 billion euro for 4 years for Ukraine up and running. And this is the phase we're in right now. It's a preparation for the extraordinary European Council on the 1st of February. It's hard work. We have discussed many different issues. For me, it's very important. My personal priority is to have an agreement by 27.
Davos also had some bilateral meetings where India's senior ministers discussed about many things. In fact, India's Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri met with the CEO of Varo Energy, Dev Sanyal, and Brian Sykes, Chairman, President and CEO of Cargill. Minister Puri also met with Marina Silva, the Environment Minister of Brazil, whom he knew since his tenure as India's ambassador to Brazil. He later held another meeting with Øyvind Eriksen, President and CEO of Akertech USA, inviting him to collaborate with Indian industries in oil and gas sector. Indian Minister for Women and Child Development Smriti Irani asserted that the New Delhi G20 summit ensured that the gender issue was discussed in the mainstream during a lively session on women leadership for global transformation at the luncheon meeting hosted on the margins of the World Economic Forum in Davos. With agency inputs, Shagnik Chakraborty, DD India.
Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said on Wednesday that support for Ukraine was still committed and unwavering. He made the remarks in a panel that included UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron and the World Economic Forum in Davos. Kuleba also said that the world has capacity to handle a number of conflicts at the same time.
Most recent visit of Prime Minister Sunak to Ukraine and the agreements reached between in the course of this visit demonstrate how committed and unwavering support is.
David Cameron said the most important part of this peace plan is restoring territorial integrity of Ukraine, and the need of the hour is frozen assets, not frozen conflict.
If you look at the allies that back Ukraine, and back Ukraine not just with money and diplomatic support, but also with weapons, our GDPs combined are 25 times the size of the Russian GDP. We've just got to make our support count to help the Ukrainians in their brave struggle.
Argentina's Libertarian President Javier Milei discussed his country's deep economic crisis and its $44 billion IMF program with the International Monetary Fund chief Kristalina Georgieva in Davos on Wednesday. Both the leaders also discussed decisive steps underway to bring down inflation and promote private sector-led growth. Argentina is racing to salvage its massive loan program with the IMF. Argentinian president is pushing for major economic reforms, including spending cuts and deregulation, while facing high poverty. Milei also met British Foreign Minister David Cameron, discussing deepening of the commercial ties. In his first overseas tour, Milei slammed socialism and praised free markets in a speech at Davos.
Far from being the cause of our problems, free enterprise capitalism as an economic system is the only tool we have to end hunger, poverty and destitution across the globe. The empirical evidence is unquestionable. Therefore, there is no doubt that the free market capitalism is superior in productive terms. The left wing has attacked capitalism on moral grounds as being, according to its detractors, unjust. They say that capitalism is bad because it's individualistic and collectivism is good because it is altruistic. Consequently, they strive for social justice.
UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has won a key vote on the legislation designed to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda. The opposition Labour Party, however, says it's a gimmick and the legislation still faces parliamentary hurdles. DD India's Ollie Barrett reports from London.
There's no doubt that this is a victory for Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister. The overall vote on his Rwanda legislation passing through the House of Commons at this stage. But the last 48 hours have seen significant rebellions from some of his own Conservative MPs who wanted that legislation to be, in their view, tougher to try and make sure that the Rwanda scheme can get up and running. It's not a battle that is over yet either. The legislation now goes towards the UK's upper chamber, the House of Lords. We could well see there attempts to amend the legislation from its current form, and so there could well be further parliamentary battles to come before the legislation is completely on the statute books. And that's important for UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, because he wants to see flights to Rwanda, deporting some asylum seekers, up and running in the early part of 2024, and the parliamentary schedule may not allow that. We've also been hearing from the opposition Labour Party, who say that this scheme won't work. They say it's a gimmick. They've been pointing to what they say is chaos in the Conservative Party in recent days. The idea of the scheme is that some asylum seekers will be sent to Rwanda to see their claims processed there. The idea is that overall you act as a deterrent and stop some people trying to make often dangerous journeys to the UK in the first place. The government believes it will help bring overall illegal immigration numbers down. As I say, opposition parties dispute that, and the parliamentary battle is not over yet. Ollie Barrett in London, reporting for DD India.
India's economy is expected to grow at 7.3% in the financial year 2024, said the Central Bank Governor Shaktikant Das. As part of discussions on the sidelines of World Economic Forum, Das said India's growth momentum will be maintained in the future years as durable signs of India's growth momentum are being maintained, and that is visible. Recent global rating agency Fitch Ratings affirmed India's long-term foreign currency rating with a stable outlook. Das supported his comments based on a lot of in-house research and analysis. He further said that this is an opportune time for investors to invest in India. He said that there is a lot of international confidence in India, the technology story built around India, the growth prospects of India, and the macroeconomic and financial sector stability that India offers. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Britain's cyber spies marked the 80th anniversary of the world's first digital code-breaking computer, Colossus, on Thursday. Colossus was developed in the years 1943 to 45 to help in the cryptanalysis to defeat Hitler's Germany, and was so significant that it was kept secret for decades. Apple cannot sell two flagship Apple Watch models in the US due to its legal battle with the medical technology company Masimo, as per US appeals court ruled on Wednesday. The iPhone maker is in a legal court battle. The legal proceedings could take a year, and the analysts expect that Apple should be able to disable the disputed feature in the meantime to comply with the ban and keep the watch on sale. Up next, we're heading for a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Holy city of Ayodhya witnesses an unprecedented surge in tourists ahead of the consecration ceremony on 22nd January. Stay with us as we get you how people in Ayodhya are gearing up for this welcome change. Chamoli district of North Indian state of Uttarakhand covered in white. The region witnesses the first snowfall of the season. India's shuttler HS Pranoy has set up second-round clash against Priyanshu Rajawat at India Open Super 750 Series on Thursday.
Ram Gulela Temple in Ramkot is not far away from Ram Janmabhoomi main temple complex. And now we delve into the story behind this ancient temple.
ये राजा विक्रमादित्य से पहले का आश्रम है। यहाँ भगवान गुलेल खेला करते थे, तो उस जगह पे आप बैठे हुए हैं जहाँ भगवान का क्रीड़ा स्थल था, इसलिए इस मंदिर का नाम राम गुलेला मंदिर।
The Ram Gulela temple complex is being refurbished but also houses ashram or spiritual hermitage or monastery for young disciples of Hinduism and its various trustees.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get to all the buzz being generated in the build-up to the consecration ceremony of Ram Temple at India's holy city of Ayodhya on 22nd of January now. Ahead of the consecration of the Ram temple in the North Indian state of Ayodhya, the procession of the idol of Lord Ram has completed and the recitation of the scholar Valmiki's Anand Ramayana has begun. The resolution will take place on Thursday afternoon. Many other rituals and ceremonies are lined up for today in the temple city of Ayodhya. And people across India are excited for the grand ceremony in Ayodhya. A couple from Mandapeta town in the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh have sent decorated coconuts for the consecration ceremony in Ayodhya on 22nd of January. The couple was seen decorating the coconuts with beads and bright paintings before sending them to Ayodhya. Visuals from the North Indian hilly state of Uttarakhand showed a glimpse of how the spirit of the consecration in Ayodhya is spread all over India. Pictures of Lord Ram are being projected through laser light on the clock tower in the middle of Dehradun city in Uttarakhand. At the India International Science Festival being organized in New Delhi, young scientists from IIT Madras displayed the prototype of a hyperloop that they have been working on. The project is being funded by Indian Railways. DD India's Dibyendu Mondal spoke to Harry, a young scientist working on this project. Let's listen in.
At the India International Science Festival in Faridabad, I'm joined by a young student, Harry, who has developed a prototype of, you must have heard about Elon Musk's Hyperloop. So we are hoping to get something like this in India's own indigenously built Hyperloop. Harry, can you explain us about what this is and for the benefit of our viewers, what this is and at what stage of development this is?
So this is we are a company called Tutor Hyperloop. So we are incubated out of IIT Madras incubation cell, and this is a still model of a Hyperloop prototype. So this you can see is a vacuum tube. So what happens is, like, we will have vehicles which runs inside vacuum tube with magnetic levitation. So there won't be any opposing force that is created for the vehicle. So what happens is it will propel like a bullet. So once you propel it, it will go on forever. So since there is no force that is opposing it, it can go to speeds up to 700-800 km/h. As of now, we are building a 400-meter long test facility at IIT Madras and also a subscale vehicle for testing in it, which we are expecting to complete around April this year.
Well, of course, I'm also being told that this project is being funded by the Indian Railways, that is also helping you guys to develop such prototypes. And can you give us more insight as to, where, at what stage of, or perhaps by when can we see a full-scale model being presented at the IIT Madras?
Yes, so as of now, the Indian Railways has given us some grant to build a 400-meter long tube. So we have almost built 200 meter out of it. So still 200 meter is left. So we are expecting to complete by next month. So, and we will do testing we are also building a pod which is around 1 ton weight. So we will test it in the tube for some time. And for a full scale operation, initially we are thinking to go into cargo. So then we will go into passengers, as there are safety concerns and everything has to be proven for this new, since it's a new technology. So you can expect some cargo, maybe from a port to some kind of terminal. So we can expect around 2028 to 2030.
That's a wonderful thing, Harry. And as you can see, this is also being known as the 5th mode of transport in the world, and this could perhaps be a game changer if this becomes a reality. And Hyperloop is something that the world is looking at. With camera person Vinay, this is Dibyendu Mondal from Faridabad for DD India.
All right, let's get to weather updates from across India. Now, cold waves continue to grip several states of North India. According to the India Meteorological Department, Punjab, Haryana and Chandigarh will see a cold day on Wednesday and Thursday. Conditions will be even colder in Uttar Pradesh, with cold to severe cold day on the cards for the state. IMD forecast a cold wave to severe cold wave to continue in parts of Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and Delhi for the next 5 days. Let's take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. Following a prolonged wait, Chamoli district of North Indian state of Uttarakhand witnessed the onset of snowfall on Wednesday. Significant snowfall was recorded in key locations such as Badrinath Dham, Hemkund Sahib. Even Hanuman Chatti saw a blanket of snow. Ahead of Republic Day and consecration ceremony at Ram Temple in Ayodhya, security has been beefed up in the North Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. Security forces and police have been put on alert across the Jammu region, including the Indo-Pakistan border, to ensure the deployment of foolproof security in the region. India's skipper Rohit Sharma turned out to be a saviour thrice in the third T20 match against Afghanistan as the hosts completed the series whitewash. Indian skipper slammed 100 in regulation time and then played 2 cameos to help India fight past a feisty Afghanistan in a dramatic match that concluded over 2 super overs. Rohit, who scored 121 not out, and Rinku Singh, who remained unbeaten on 69, shared 190 runs for the 5th wicket. India came back from a shaky 22 for 4 to post a massive 212 for 4. India's shuttler HS Pranoy has set up second-round clash against Priyanshu Rajawat at India Open Super 750 Series on Thursday. Asian Games bronze medalist HS Pranoy packed off Chinese Taipei's Cho Ting-chin in straight games on the opening day of the tournament on Tuesday, while Rajawat came from a game down to upset Commonwealth Games gold medalist Lakshya Sen. Rajawat showcased remarkable resilience to secure a 16-21, 21-16, 21-13 victory over his illustrious compatriot Lakshya Sen, while Pranoy defeated Cho for 21-6, 21-19 to advance to the second round of the tournament. Rajawat was part of the country's 2022 Thomas Cup winning squad. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.